This is one of the most interesting questions we've ever got because it negates itself like 4 times. I was going through all the phone of snakes.
Yeah.
It was all some variations of the same thing. I heard this, but the energy woke me up.
Woke you right up.
Thank you.
Woke me
Thank
right
you,
up,
Latin
too.
America.
People's ideas, like us, the fans, we're not Taylor Swift, so our ideas are not that interesting. They never are. And I'm talking about me, I'm talking about you, I'm talking about callers, I'm talking about everybody in the world. We always have the worst ideas ever. And her ideas are actually interesting. And that's why she's Taylor Swift, and we're the peons on YouTube.
Welcome back to Evolution of a Snake. I'm Zach.
And I am Madeline.
And in today's episode, we're going to be musing about TS12 because we've come into the possession of some information that we don't know if it's reliable, but all we've heard is that Taylor is moving musically in September. So we asked you guys, this is Phone a Snake, if you've ever heard of it, greatest segment of all time on any podcast ever. It is where you call in with your crazy derangements and we say yes, we say slay, we throw tomatoes, we laugh, we chortle. Sometimes you put your hand in the snake den and you get bit.
That's just the way it works. Many people know this. In fact, everybody knows this. Many people discovered this live in person.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
many
you can
people
get
discovered
on
that
the
live in
Smack
person.
Cam IRL on the Jumbotron.
IRL. Come on.
But speaking of in person, now is a great time to share that, yes, the rumors are true. The Snares Tour is coming international. I am doing a hometown show with my girl, Madeline. On September 4th at the Sugar Club in Dublin, Ireland. So girls, come and see us. We're also going to be at the Unicorn Theatre on September 8th, which is a Monday, I believe. And if you are a Patreon member, the pre-sale for your Patreon privileges are happening right now. Go to evolutionofasnake.com for ticketing information. General tickets will go on sale on Friday. And you know what? Meet and greets go fast. So if you want one, get them quick. We are not currently able to add any more shows at this time. So if you want to see us in that region, in that area, come and hit us up in Dublin and London.
We can't wait. I'm excited to go across the pond again. Some of us like just kind of hop on the lily pad and go across the pond. Some of us enjoy
Americans love to say across the pond.
Well, it's just fun. And it's just, it's kind of classy and it kind of, makes it seem so casual. Like, oh, I'm just going across the pond. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, it's really not that
the
easy.
Atlantic Ocean.
It's
a little
not
pond.
That easy. Yep.
Yeah, let it be known that also this is a completely self-produced event. Evolution of a Snake, written by Evolution of a Snake, directed by Evolution of a Snake, craft services by Evolution of a Snake, venue acquisition by Evolution of a Snake. We did it all ourselves. So we are, and because we love you. Because we love you. We want to come see you.
Because we wanted to come back. Mm-hmm.
We also really want to go to Australia, and that is proving to be harder because we don't know anyone in Australia. So if you are a booking agent or you know a tour promoter that wants to bring a successful US tour complete,
many people are saying
Ireland
it,
tour complete with many sold out shows, then you should reach out to us at, theswiftologist@gmail.com. Thanks. Okay, so now we can get into Phone a Snake. I thought that I would so we asked, the prompt was like, give us your hopes, your predictions, your dreams for TS12. This was the one that I thought that we should start on. It's a good place to be.
Hello, my beautiful Zacarias and Madeline. I love you so much. My name is Haisam from Latin America. I'm predicting the next album is gonna be Horny Taylor. She's so happy now. And Travis is like so sexy and hot and happy. And she's friends with Sabrina Carpenter. She's not crying anymore for that cold hairlong turkey and for Ratty Healy. I mean, even if I am a broken soldier and I am still crying at the Tortured Poets apartment, she's not anymore, and she was feeling even sexy and horny at the department. Let's remind, like she was like trying to stifle her size there and trying like touch me while your bro's playing Grand Theft Auto. So let's shake or Taylor, let's go to a party again.
I kind of have to agree with the sentiment. If the bottom line is let's shake our let's go to party again, I'm saying yes. I don't see why not.
That energy revived me from a deep slumber when I heard it. I was going through all the phone of snakes.
Yeah.
It was all some variations of the same thing. I heard this, but the energy woke me up.
Woke you right up.
Thank you,
woke me right up
Latin
too.
America, for constantly raising the bar for fan behaviors across the board. Who is doing it like Latin America? I hate to hear the words horny and Taylor in the same sentence. I don't know what it is. There's something about that feels so
it's not right.
Wrong to me. I don't like to hear it. It's like, that's my fairy tale princess. And like, if she wants to say the words, I'm horny, which she doesn't. If she wants to say those words, I'm gonna let her cook. But when other people are saying it about her, I'm like, you're kind of violating my fairy tale princess.
Also, I've always kind of thought of Taylor as like an older sister type. I don't want to know about my older sister being horny or what have you. So
dress is enough.
Let's
ha,
yeah,
like we got it.
And every time that she's done it, I would say dress is probably as close to horny as we've ever gotten.
So it goes.
Dress, wildest
scratch
dreams.
It down your back. Scratches down your back.
I guess so, high school, but so high school isn't horny to me. It's more like I have a crush. I'm
it's
like
silly.
Ooh. Yeah, it's like goofy. It's like butterflies. So horny tail. I understand. I get what we're saying. I personally wouldn't have used the word horny, but I support the vision. I support the enthusiasm. I support the creativity. I think that let's go shake our we're ready to go to party is, I mean, come on, let's go.
A great place to be in.
It's a great place to be in.
Shake it off. And I think that Taylor herself has been notably, documentedly shaking it off as of late.
She's smiling. She grins ear to ear. She's always grinning ear to ear. We're not really seeing those same kind of pictures that we were seeing in the summer before Torture Poets, going to the studio, frown on, which actually, can we kind of open the case about how she hasn't been going to the studio?
Thinking this the other day, I was like, where are the photos of her in the studio? Because she can't be going to Electric Lady without getting photographed. It's just not possible.
So she can't be going to Electric Lady. Just because she's not going to Electric Lady doesn't mean she's not recording. But
that was my second thought. But also, she loves Jack Antonoff. I don't think that doesn't seem over to me. As much as the people on the internet wish it was over, I don't think that that's over.
I don't think that that's over either. I think at most we might see less Jack, maybe. But I don't know. I kind of feel like, I know everybody wants her to branch out. I'm not saying that I don't, but I wouldn't be mad if it was just Aaron Dessner and Jack Antonoff and maybe a couple of new people as well. Like, I would just be like, okay, I mean,
well, you know what? Hold that thought, because we have a question or a remark about this.
Hi, Zach and Madeline. It's Juliana. Okay, hopes and dreams that Jack Antonoff makes another Cruel Summer, but also that he's only on 3 of the songs. And that's the same with Aaron Dessner, but specifically Jack. I guess Taylor made Cruel Summer. I just want another Cruel Summer. Next is predictions. I think that she's going to finish. Her and Travis are really good friends. I just feel like he's going to get the friend zone. And that they're really chill and easy peasy. And then fears is that we're not going to get a lot of details and a lot of sauce, because I just feel like not a lot's going on. I know that there's just sounds like there's a lot of working going on. Like, she's making a movie, she bought her master's, she's on vacation. I'm just like, is that song stuff? I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot of drama going on.
This is one of the most interesting questions we've ever got, because it negates itself like 4 times. She's working a lot, but she's also on vacation.
She's on vacation. So now, here's what I want to address. First of all, why 3? Why did we pick the number 3 out of thin air? And number 2, friend zoning Travis. Where'd you get that from? Because it's not from what I'm seeing. And my eyes are open.
Do you smell that? Are you smelling this? It smells like Gaylerism.
My eyes are wide open, and I've been seeing the images. That's not at this point. That would have happened a year and a half ago. We're past that point.
That doesn't look like friends to me. No. I don't hang out with my friends like that. When Madeline and I are at the airport, we're not sitting like that.
That's not happening. That's not happening. I don't know about you guys. Your relationships are different, but that's not happening. So let's open that case up. That was interesting. So was the point that she was making like, oh, she's gonna friend zone Travis on the album?
I can't tell. Well, also then she said there's not going to be much detail on the album, and now that I can kind of get behind, because Taylor has found herself in this bind where if she really shares how she's feeling in totality, people will run amok with that information. And also, the obsession with Travis is unlike any other Tay boyfriend before. Like, the way that people are invested in them means that whatever she puts out is going to be picked apart. And whatever she does musically is picked apart regardless. We do it. We're the number one proponents of it. But the kind of people that are now going to be mining her songs for information, for detail, it's a different level. So if I were her and I wanted this relationship to last, I would give as little detail as possible.
And you know what's interesting is that I've always kind of thought, if I can share, the two albums that I think have the least amount of detail out of any of the Taylor albums, I'm going to say Reputation isn't as detailed as people think that it is. I think it's very restrained.
You're correct. It is
Yeah,
extremely
I think
restrained.
it's
And
really
1989
restrained.
is the Arms Distance album.
Yeah, definitely for sure. And you know what? I clapped and I cheered. So
They're still great.
I just got Torture Poets Department. As a matter of fact, can I share something? And I posted this on Twitter, so this is not a secret. I was listening to Folklore today. I said, it's summer. Let's stream Folklore. About halfway through, I said, you know what? I want to listen to Torture Poets. So I turned it off.
As
so
you should.
We just got Torture Poets Department, which is as agonized, like deeply, deeply in detail. I don't really care if she does another one of these. I'm there to shake. So
it'd be easy for me to get on the first listen. So that would be a nice experience, because when I listened to Tortured Poets, it was like taking a million bullets.
Yeah. And it still is. It's still to this day is. So
I learned something new about Tortured Poets every time I listen to it. I've actually been on a Tortured Poets sabbatical because so much like new stuff has been coming out, but trust me, it's coming back. What's really been heavy on my rotation is, but of course, Cruel Summer. And can we really, to your question or to your desire, can we really do a Cruel Summer again? We can't.
No, and here's the question I really want to ask you guys. Should we? She already exists. She already exists.
I understand what you're saying, in like that kind of pop, that sound can 100% be revisited. It's unlike everything else on Lover, and a continuation of that kind of pop music, I would be very interested in it. It's like a more grown-up version of 1989, if that makes sense to me sonically.
I think that it's kind of like 1989 meets Reputation in like the most perfect kind of a way. It's like Getaway Car meets...
Yeah, it shares a DNA with Getaway Car. There's something very linked about those two songs.
Yeah. And I cheer. So
Sister Song.
Yeah, I think we got
mentioned
many such cases. We could do millions of them. It never ends.
While we're talking about sound, let's get into the next caller.
Hi, Snake. So what I want from TS12 is for Jack to drop the synths. Like, we could get some real instruments. I love Midnights as much as the next Crazy Swiftie, but I feel like you could take the I'm So Happy My Travi made it onto the big game if it sounds like Guilty as Sin, or like Holy Ground, or I don't know, like Still High School, or Don't Kill Me, False God. I would love a False God.
There was like part of that I didn't catch, but I got the overall message.
I'm seeing the vision, but I'm confused about why we would kill for saying we love False God. I don't hate it. I'm saying let's go.
Also, Holy Ground.
Another
there's
Mason
a noted
favorite.
Holy Ground enjoyer.
Mason,
False God is good. We've been saying False God.
I Can See You, Sparks Fly. There's a theme. I think that there's a theme.
Never Out of the Woods.
No. And
never.
Also, that
not
makes
on
sense.
any day of the week.
Nonetheless, I think what you, and she said this in the message, she's kind of itching for that Guilty as Sin kind of memento, but like in a Midnight style. And I kind of think Down Bad almost goes there, but of course Down Bad has that sort of like ethereal Jack Antonoff production. But it's kind of like...
Be dead without it. We need it.
Say it. But I mean, the song's about aliens. We kind of needed him to do his weirdo on that one, so I'm going to give that one to him. But I totally get what you mean. Kind of want Jack to do more of his, maybe Norman Rockwell, or what he did on Gaslighter with the chicks, that kind of a moment. I also, and we talked about this a lot, I feel like we talked about this, if not every night, like at least 3 or 4 shows. What if Taylor went country again? What if? I mean, I'm seated. Let's let Jack Antonoff have a crack at doing another Gaslighter, sort of like Gaslighter meets NFR, kind of meets Torture Poets, kind of a moment. Oh, that sounds so good. I just cooked so hard. I was like, that sounds so good.
Can I also just say that we have got to stop laying the responsibility solely at the feet of Jack Antonoff, because, again, he has proven over and over that he is a very versatile producer. We've just named 2 other albums that sound nothing like Taylor's ever done, that are things that she could lean into if she wanted to. Even Melodrama is different from all of those 2 things. So Jack has the range. It's really about, does Taylor have the taste or the desire or the need to expand? And you know what? I like her taste. This is the gag.
Me too.
The production, to me, this is everyone's number one complaint. And it's like, yeah, I would like something different, but it's not to the point where I feel like the artistry is like flopping because the production is so bad. There are production moments on Torture Poets that I love. There are some that I really don't like. The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, fumbled.
And I think we should open the case. And that's
but
kind
Daddy,
of why,
I Love Him, perfectly executed from start to finish. You see?
This is kind of why I think that we need a Tortured Poets Long Pond studio sessions, because I would like to have a moment in the studio for Smallest Man Who Ever Lived done in a different stylization instead of I'm marching on Normandy. I love to march. Trust me, we love to march. But we could have, I think we've, and again, Tortured Poets.
The vocal production shouldn't sound like the microphone was put inside the water canister while you're marching on Normandy. Shouldn't sound like that.
I actually kind of think that I saw somebody say that Tortured Poets is going to get the Speak Now treatment. And I thought, when I first read it, I was like, that's crazy. And then I was like, well,
she's already doing it.
She's already
doing it. But it did get its memento. Like, it got incorporated entirely into the Eras tour. We can never take that away from her. And Taylor clearly, it was hilarious. In London, night one, her favorite part of the show so clearly was doing Tortured Poets. Let me tell you, the audience's favorite part of the show was not Tortured Poets.
And she was up there. It was ours. Plus, then Travis came out during I Can Do With a Broken Heart. That, I keep forgetting that happened to us.
Mm-hmm.
That
it did. We were just so far away that it could have happened to us anywhere. We were like in the sky for that night. But we had a bird's eye view, baby. We had a bird's eye view.
I gagged. But nonetheless, the point is, Tortured Poets, the new Speak Now, more likely than you think. And if it is the new Speak Now, guess what that means? The next album is going to be a little bit of a departure, just like Red was. Red was her really stretching her legs. I'm not saying that she's going to do the exact same thing that she did when she was 22. That's not happening, girls. But I am saying, maybe history repeats itself. Maybe it does. I don't know.
Artists do get more conservative as they get older, though, and less experimental. And I will never forget the New York Times review that said, Reputation is likely the farthest that Taylor is going to push her boat out. That's the most experimental she's going to get. And as she continues to age, she will get a little bit more conservative with her sound. And if you think about it, that's been true because like post Reputation, we got Lover, which was like everything she's ever done before. Folklore and Evermore were sonically really not a leap from things she's done elsewhere. Midnights, we've been new. I have to give it to Midnights, though. There is something distinctly Midnights about that production that is not on any of her other pop albums. It has a thing.
Maybe she's not like the other girls. We could say that about Katy Perry. Katy Perry's not going to grow and change.
She's not doing it. She's showing us.
And that's all I'm going to say.
I think that Taylor is interested in evolving her artistry outside of music. It seems like she's been kind of itching to do that for a while, and like that's coming. So if I were her, would now specifically be the right moment to do something totally experimental that I've never done before? Well, no, that's kind of what Tortured Poets was. She was like, not that it was experimental, but she was like, I'm just going to do whatever I want, like what I feel is good and not care about like whether it's the biggest hit in the world, because I know that it's going to smash regardless. Now is the time, I think, to be a little bit more focused.
I'm saying it. Let's go. And again, we return to the first caller. It's time to shake and go back to the party. Why not? I don't see why not.
We're ready. Why not? And also, there's so much we don't know about, like I'm itching for new music because the thing is about not hearing from her for a long time is that we don't understand where she is in her life. And like, she increasingly seems like a stranger. The longer you don't hear from her, you're like, what the hell is going on? And Tortured Poets was about such a short period of time 2 years ago. So much has happened to her in her life. She seems a lot happier. A lot of things have changed. The only way we're ever going to hear about that is through music. So I need the album to understand the thought process that is going on in the head. Otherwise, she's a stranger to me.
I'd like to press play, and I think that's no surprise to anybody that I would like to press the play button. I'm gagging to see the theming. I'm gagging to see the cover. What is she gonna call it? I mean, come on, let's go. The girls are ready.
I'm ready. No, I feel a new era upon us. And the thing is that like we never clown. So if I clown and I'm wrong, I might need to be put on suicide watch.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna take my cyanide pill that I keep in my left tooth. So
in my left tooth with my microphone and my water canister on the beaches of Normandy. Well, speaking of theming, someone called in with an idea that I thought was quite interesting.
Hey snakes, love the podcast. Recently joined the Patreon. Highly recommend to people who haven't. First time doing Fun a Snake. So for TS12, if I had a guess what the theme will be. I think it'd be like a lilac color theme since she's been wearing that color for her nails recently. And I also think it'll be like a floral type theme as well, since I mean, she's had flower elements in her other eras, but really hasn't done an era that's revolved around a flower type theme. So if I had a guess, that one would be my guess. Thank you.
50% cook, 50% cook. Lilac, I'm hearing you.
When I'm hearing it from the beginning to the end, ladies and gentlemen, floral theme, can I say something? And this is with all the respect and love and appreciation in the world to you, dear caller. Everybody goes there. I feel like we've been going there. Yeah, so we've been going there for a long time. Floral is, I'm not saying there's anything bad about floral, but I feel like florals for spring, groundbreaking. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't do anything. Floral doesn't evoke anything. And she already kind of did do it in the Lover promo. Like a lot of the photo shoot pictures are in florals, and like she's wearing florals a lot in that big, you know, the picture I'm talking about where she's in
and the hideous Stella McCartney merch was all like flowers.
Yes. So I think I'm not saying there won't be flowers, but maybe it won't be to the degree that you're thinking, because floral always kind of can really go to a place of either I'm going to church on Sunday or I am the couch that my grandma has in her house. So it's like we have
the couch.
And I think a woman in her mid-30s is really not wanting to give that kind of a vibe. I'm still young. I'm still, creative. I'm still churning it out. I don't want to give. I'm going to church.
She did Granny. She's done Granny.
And you know what? When Granny comes out, I clap and I cheer. But I don't think that's going to be the vibe. I think especially because she's going so like what she's wearing is very like, you know what I'm talking about. She's not really dialing it back. She's turning it up, if anything.
I'm ready to see. I mean, lilac is interesting to me. Color is such an important part of an album release, and it sounds so silly, but like brat green, that can really like change the fortunes of your album. Picking the right color and having the theming and everything go perfectly to plan. So I think everyone's clowning for orange, but I don't see her doing that because I really don't think she likes it that much. And also karma associations are irritating. Lilac is interesting because she hasn't really committed to like a purple bit before. I mean, Speak Now. Never mind. Speak Now, I guess.
You know, the thing is, we're running out of colors on the wheel, and I also don't see her doing.
We got to get into hues.
Yeah, we got to get into hues, and I don't see a problem with that. I think that's good, clean fun. Eras Tour is over. Not everything has to be. We only started talking about things in terms of their color, like within the last 4 years. Genuinely, truly. Like we were not always obsessively talking about this.
For obvious reasons.
Right, exactly. Or, red and Speak Now were but like purple and red, and that's just kind of like the way it was.
1990 didn't even have a color. She had to retroactively give it blue. And when she did that, we were like, well, that doesn't really seem accurate.
So I think that this like fixation with like, well, she can't do lilac because she already did Speak Now purple. Disagree.
You're right.
Disagree.
Mm-hmm.
Disagree.
She can double back on herself. Why not?
She can do whatever she wants. Mm-hmm. I've heard of it.
I'm ready to see it. You mentioned country, yes, earlier. So why don't we take a journey into a country renaissance?
Hi, Snakes. So I think for TS12, we should keep the idea of maybe country or country-esque styles coming up, because we heard how much she enjoyed re-recording debut TV, and on TTPD we heard the sort of country-esque songs, a little bit of that sort of style, and we know those are her roots, so maybe we could think some country tree influences could pop up. Alright, love you guys.
CUNTRY country, I'm hearing it. I mean, Taylor is always, as well, when she's trying to smash, responsive to what's popular in pop music at the time. And if you look at the Hot 100, it's a miserable place to be. But what you do see on the Hot 100 is a lot of like country-esque elements to it. I mean, Sabrina Manchild has a country element to it. Even Pink Pony Club has a country thing about it. And these are the pop songs that are smashing, along with Morgan Wallen, Noted Evil Man. So I think it's not out of the realm of possibility that Taylor could come back. The argument that there's been too many country albums. Yeah, but who started country pop crossover? Who started that? I mean, Shania Twain, but who started it for pop girls of the 21st century? Taylor Swift. This is her bag. It's there waiting for her. And also country radio is there waiting for her to help her whenever she decides to return. So that would give her a huge boost as well. She would have the dual credibility. So I think like a country smash is a lot more likely than you think. It's also a way that we can avoid Lover 2.0 being slop, is country being a differentiating factor about it.
And I also think to continue on the country wavelength, I think country, especially I can't spell, CUNTRY country, a lot of it is about, the stereotype of the angry Southern woman. I think that there's so much untapped potential in the area of Taylor's like rage towards certain subjects, and we touched on it with Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. We touched on it in Smallest Man. We touched on it in Mad Woman. Like we've touched on it before, but it goes on and on and on. And country is such a good outlet, I think, for exploring that particular emotion. And it goes to a place where it's not just all about Travis. And I don't think this album is going to be all about Travis either which way. I definitely think we're going to have our Travis mementos, and we're clapping and we're cheering. But she's multifaceted. She's not 16, 18, 20 years old anymore and just like totally focused on relationships. Her life is very complex and there's so many things to talk about. So I think it's going to be a little bit more interesting than people think. Even if it is Lover 2.0, not the way you think. Not the way you
Even Tortured
think.
Poets was very expansive in terms of subject matter.
Yes.
And Midnight's too. Like she has been going into different areas, like the Dear Reader of it all, the would've, could've, should've, the I Hate It Here's. There are things to mine in her brain that do not just revolve around men. We know that. Does everyone else know that is the question. No, they don't. So I personally would like to see Taylor's version of Manchild. Give it to me.
I would be tuned into that, and we need to get into more of that kind of stuff because we've been waiting. We've been waiting patiently.
It's been waiting for you. Welcome to country music. It's been waiting for you. We would like to see the return. And I believe that she can do a different take on it. She's not doing Lasso. It's not LARP. It's real.
I've got 57.
And she's been in Nashville.
Million
She's been in Nashville lately.
On Spotify.
She's been in the South hanging out. She's been in Florida. She's been in very many places in which country music is popular. So I believe that it could be on the horizon. Maybe that's why we're not seeing her with Jack. Maybe someone else is being called in to do the heavy lifting.
And you people will gag so hard when that happens.
Us also. We will all gag.
Here's the thing is that no matter what happens, I'm going to gag. So it's not nothing I say. It's never happened before that have I ever been right? No, I've never once been right. Have I been on the precipice of right? Yeah, but never oh my God, I was completely right. Never. And that's the way I like it. I like to be surprised.
That's the beauty of being a Swiftie is you never, ever know what's going to happen. Why don't we get into a controversial take?
Hi, Snakes. First time calling because I had to say what might be controversial, but I think we can wait for TS12. Maybe it makes me a boring person, but I'm really content right now with TTPD and her many other songs. I'm in no rush for a new album, but some music videos or a concert behind the scenes movie is much more exciting to me. That's all. Bye.
Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself. I'm over the Eras tour. She was great. I loved her. She was amazing, but I'm ready. I'm seated and I'm ready for what's next. And she's signaling to me that there's a shift coming. And when I can detect the shift coming from her, I move on. You see how that works? I move with her.
I think that I also many moons ago was in the camp of we're going to get a documentary. We're going to get something about the Eras tour. I kind of think she packed that up. Personally, I think it's been packed up. I think if we were gonna get something like that, we would have at least heard rumblings of it by now. Nobody's talking about it. All of the rumors are about new music, and all of the rumors are about the potentiality of a real movie, the script, etc., etc. There's no rumblings about a documentary. None. 0%.
She's got her master's back. The Eras era is kind of over, in my opinion. And I don't see why she would want to dredge that up and relive it again when we are ready to be moved on into a different position. I mean, a concert movie, a concert documentary, something I think that people forget is that just because she's filming doesn't mean she's filming something that is going to be released. For example, Red Tour, filmed notoriously at many different occasions, never released into a DVD. The 1989 tour, there were huge camera crews at Hyde Park that were not doing like stuff for the screens. They came up and they were filming the fans. That never saw the light of day. Reputation, the same thing happened. I think Beyonce does this a lot. She has camera crews trail her for significant events in her career for the archives, for like archival footage, so that one day, if she wants to do a reminiscence, if she wants to do a let's reflect on this, let's release a greatest hits or a compilation or whatever, she has a lot of stuff to support it. Like Homecoming was great because not only was it the concert footage, she also had all of this stuff that had been recorded about the rehearsal process. And I think like when you're focused on making a legacy, Kanye West unfortunately does this too, you start to record as much as you can to keep it on the docket. It's for the historical record. So I think a lot of this stuff that Taylor has been doing is probably because of that as well, and not necessarily will it translate into immediately what you think it is, which is behind the scenes of the Eras Tour, because I just don't get why we would get it now. That really should have come out already if it was going to happen.
Yeah, we gotta kind of strike while the iron is hot on that kind of a thing. I don't think people are clamoring, aside from Collar, I don't think people are clamoring at this point in the summer of 2025, give me the Eras Tour documentary. I also, I wanted it. I remember wanting it, and now I'm like, I kind of am over it. You know what I mean?
Well, it's also been paid. Optically, it doesn't really look good for her to release more Eras Tour content. It's been released in theaters. It's been released on Disney. It's been rented on YouTube TV. Like, the cash grab allegations get more and more the more that she does stuff like that. So, if anything, I think maybe a documentary about the Masters saga plus eras might come in the future at some point, maybe after her movie comes out, as like an additional credibility boosting thing. But I don't see that coming into fruition anytime soon. That's just my spidey sense. I could be wrong.
I don't really see it either. Again, it's just like, this is just kind of like my mentality. I'm moved on. And I think a lot of other people are the same. Everybody's always talking about the new album now, and I think she sees that, and I think she knows that, and I don't think she's thinking in her head, let's drag out the Eras Tour. I mean, I respect the reasonableness of the opinion of, we don't need a new album right now. I mean, we don't.
We never need an album, but we also always need an album.
And if she's making the songs, I mean, what's wrong with giving me a little taste? I don't see the problem.
Put them out. Give me 10 tracks.
Well, Mama needs a little bit more.
Mama needs more than that. Mama needs more than that. All right, let's get into another, I guess, anxiety.
Hey Snakes, my biggest fear for TS12 is that it's going to be an entire album full of So High School songs, and the end of But Daddy I Love Him, that's entirely all just cheesy pop Travis songs without being like good.
Okay, so die for saying that about the end of But Daddy I Love Him, and also the end of But Daddy I Love Him is not about Travis. So we need to just start there. Let's start there. Keep But Daddy I Love Him's name out your mouth. Not cheesy, not corny, greatest song ever made. Thank you. So High School, we can have that conversation. I don't want an album of So High School, personally.
No, and they're out there. The people that want that are out there. They're climbing on the walls. They're doing the meth behavior like on January 6th, et cetera, et cetera. I will not be climbing the walls for a So High School sounding album or a So High School leaning album. And plus, it's like, So High School is about the early beginnings of a relationship, and we are way far past that. I have to remind the girls, we are in another dimension.
We're 2 years in.
We don't know what she's thinking. We don't know what the situation is. We don't know nothing. All we know is the pictures that we see, and I don't think she's saying, I feel so high school anymore. I think she's saying, I feel so relationship. Which is a completely different thing.
You're my boyfriend.
Yeah.
But there is something I get. I kind of don't think she would drop the high school thing entirely, because first of all, she's just fixated on that. That's just been a theme throughout her discography. She returns to it all the time. So there's that. And then also there is something very high school about their relationship, in the sense that she's cheer captain and he's the football guy. Like, there is something very traditional about the roles that each of them play in their relationship, I suppose. So high school is kind of a useful creative analogy to portray their relationship, but it's certainly, I would hope that Taylor has more of an emotional range than touch me while your bros play Grand Theft Auto, because I can't handle more of that. I can't do that personally.
As you were speaking, I started to have this like dark vision of like a high school themed album.
No, it's horrible,
and I
and
just
it could
got
happen.
I got like an icy cold chill up my spine.
Imagine it would be like the Reputation poem about lunch tables at your past. Thank you, Amy.
We can't do that.
So High School
We
and
can't
Miss
do that.
Americana.
We
That's
can't
what it
do
would
that.
be.
We can't.
No.
So
Someone's got to stop her.
I haven't heard anybody talking about this, and it's actually kind of surprising to me. Leaning into the football thing is the worst thing she could do, in my opinion. Do not lean in.
It's really, it would be really a dumb thing to do.
That's
and
not
they
happening.
hate her.
So it doesn't even matter. That's never going to happen.
It can't be that, but I also do think that she derives a lot of satisfaction from, in your life, you will do things greater than dating the boy on the football team, but you actually are also going to do that as well. Women can have it all.
She's saying, it's like that movie with Sarah Jessica Parker. Do you remember that? I don't know how she does it, where she's like, I'm the do all. That's what Taylor's doing right now. She's writing, feminism. Producing, written, produced, directed by, and at the end of the day, I still get to have the hot guy. You see how that works?
You see how that works? You see how I spent my whole life being like, I'm the loser girl. No, I'm the cool girl. No, I'm the loser girl. And then I got the cool guy. You see how that works?
You see how that works? She wins. So, case in point, it's not going to be a So High School.
And she kissed
album.
a lot of frogs to get there. She kissed a lot of losers to get to where she is. So that we have to clap and cheer for that. But I personally, I'm not that interested in I Love You Travis songs. I'm sorry. I know there are going to be them, but the I Love You Joe songs, I'm really trying to think about them. They're not my favorite songs that she wrote about Joe or about their relationship. The Joe, You're My One and Only songs, really not my vibe generally. But then again, like, why is London Boy so good and why is So High School so mid? I think because there's a sense of humor and like a knowingness to London Boy that doesn't really exist on So High School. It's not funny. I'm not laughing.
Some people are. That's the gag of it all.
Who? What's funny about it? In a way that isn't embarrassing to Taylor.
We don't know.
You can laugh at it, but are you laughing with it? But people were laughing at London Boy. People were laughing at London Boy. Not me.
I think at the end of the day, what it boils down to is the sheer taste of it all. The thing is, I wouldn't mind I Love You Travis songs if they're done well.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly. All right, here's some. It's not a predictions episode without a little bit of math. So why don't we listen to someone's math?
Hey guys, it's Dana. So prediction for TS12. I think it's gonna be pop. I think it's gonna be a love album. Glitter gel pen. She's carrying a 1989 bag. She wore the 1989 merch. She sang a 1989 song in the honky tonk, and she's with a man that absolutely loves 1989. So I think that's what we're getting. A 1989 part 2. I think it's going to be called Wonderland. Perhaps. I think there's an Alice in Wonderland something that's going to be play into it. Golden stars. I don't know. Can't wait. Bye.
The utter lack of enthusiasm as she was saying it. I know that she is like, this is interesting to her, but I think it's going to be just like 1989.
It's going to be
I think
pop.
She's with a man who loves 1989.
Travis loves it.
I never thought about that
There's
before.
Something to that.
I've never thought about her. The only time where I ever know that she's done it is when she was making music specifically to annoy Jake Gyllenhaal. But like making music that sounds like what the person who it's about likes. I've never thought about that before.
Because we usually don't know. She's been doing that with the 1975 song, but show me a Taylor Swift song that sounds like a 1975 song. You can't.
Also, why would she be doing why would she be doing that for Maddie when she doesn't care what he likes? I think this is, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm saying, like, Travis likes 1989, so Taylor, in the metaphor, metaphorically, if she did, then she would make the album sound like 1989. I don't think it's going to be that. I've just never thought about that before because
well, let's talk about it being called Wonderland. Let's have that conversation because you just made that up. It's a song title that she's already used on an album from 10 years ago. Why would she do that? And Alice in Wonderland, not a good theme for a Taylor Swift album.
Well, let's just say we've been there, done that. And plus, you know who would have a field day. So I think that we should just put that one to bed. I like the effort. I like the creativity. I like the thought. But I think Alice in Wonderland, something that's specific, I don't
never
see
done that before. Like chosen a single piece. Like even Red, which is inspired by Blue, is inspired by Blue really only in like theme and approach. It's not like directly inspired by the songs on Blue. You can't look at a song and be like, well, that's her Case of You. Taylor is not referential in that way. And also, again, she would never use a title for a song that she's already done before. And it's obvious. I would like to think that the I Love You Travis album is going to have a subversive element to it. There's going to be something like interesting about it that is not just Wonderland, because I love him.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more, and it always is. People's ideas, like us, the fans, we're not Taylor Swift, so our ideas are not that interesting. They never are. And I'm talking about me, I'm talking about you, I'm talking about callers, I'm talking about everybody in the world. The fans, we don't know nothing. We always have the worst ideas ever. And her ideas are actually interesting. And that's why she's Taylor Swift, and we're the peons on YouTube. So
we're the ones
do the math.
We're the peanut gallery. That's why we're in different positions. So whatever she comes up with will be far better than anything we could predict. But I know it's not going to be called Wonderland. And I know it's not going to be Alice in Wonderland themed. I know that for sure.
I can ascertain that 100%. That's not happening. I like the spirit. I like the spirit.
Also, Taylor was wearing 1989 merch when?
The little trunk bag that she was wearing with the Barbie dress with the gold buttons, the perfect look. The trunk bag that she was using was a bag that she used during the 1989 era.
No, that I know, but she also said she was wearing 1989 merch. This is my question. What merch? The new collection that came out?
That I don't know. Maybe she misspoke. Because to my knowledge,
maybe she did. Well, I don't think we missed it because we went through all her outfits. So I'm
we were online.
Did we miss something? Yeah, we live in the phone. So I feel like I would have caught that if I did. Now, here's another question that I think might tickle Madeline's fancy.
Hey, longtime listener, I just joined the Patreon. In regards to TS12, I think that it would be really awesome if Taylor did like a late 90s Cranberries dream pop inspired record that kind of borders punk almost, because I think that it would fit in well with the current climate of the music industry with this kind of resurgence of Y2K pop, but instead like flipping that and doing late 90s. I think that it would be a way to explore more live instruments as opposed to synths, which is what she has been doing for the last couple albums. And I also think that doing this kind of late 90s Cranberries inspired album would be an interesting way to demonstrate her vocal talents, which in my opinion is the most important part of TS12, because with her recent overexposure, I think it's important to really emphasize her talent as a musician in order to get society to kind of accept her into the mainstream again. I hope this made sense. And when I say Cranberries, I mean like, they're dreamy, like pop parts, Thanks.
Oh, we know what you mean. We know what you mean.
I gotta tell you, that exists, and it's called Sunday 1994. And we've been saying it. What you seek is in Sunday 1994. But nonetheless, well, yes. Well, I would absolutely be seated for that. Mama loves a 90s moment. And I do think there's a way to do it that's not tired, that's not overdone. Again, I say Sunday 1994, but she's not going to do that. Like, it's going to be completely different. But what I'm saying is, like, there's a way to do it that's referential. At the same time, it's something completely different. And if I can speak, Taylor's never really fully been referential to that extent. And I think it would be interesting. Is it out of her wheelhouse just because she's never done it? I don't think so. But it would be, she's done. Well, hold on. I spoke too soon. Have we forgotten 1989? Never mind. But you know what I mean. If we've done 1989, yes. Maybe we should do 1999. I mean, many people are saying it. I'm saying it right now.
Many people are saying it, and that would be a good way to do like a mature lover or a mature I love you song would be to just lean into the moodiness of it all. But So High School actually sonically I can see a direction forming there of what you're talking about. Like when I put the melody and the lyrics aside and I just listen to the guitar and the instruments, she definitely it's one of a kind sonically on Tortured Poets for sure. And I wouldn't hate it if she continued in that direction. I also think it's interesting that you think she needs to emphasize her talent. She's never going to win if the talent that she's trying to emphasize is her voice, because her voice I love her voice. I think that it's great, but it's not Ariana. And it seems like the internet only bows to Ariana-esque vocals and they make fun of everything else. If Taylor really wants to win everyone over, what she's got to do is get a Shake It Off on the menu. That's the easiest way for her to get people back on side, is a huge hit. That's the Taylor formula for getting people to love her again. So yeah, the vocals, I wouldn't be leaning into that as the strong suit.
No, and I also kind of think it's interesting that you were using 90s sort of like female fronted bands to be like, well, the vocals. Because I mean, none of those women who were operating in the 90s, not even in the Cranberries, not even in Mazzy Star, like the vocal wasn't Ariana Grande. The vocal wasn't Adele. Like it wasn't Mariah Carey in the booth.
It wasn't the point either.
No, exactly. So I think that I thought you were going to say that kind of music really suits her vocal range. It certainly does. Let's open that case up. And well, I'd be seated for it. Will I see my harvest? Will I see my feast? I never do.
Unlikely.
So,
unlikely, Diva. Unlikely.
Yeah.
All right, let's cap it off with a question that we have definitely been thinking about lately.
Okay, this is less about TS12 and more about the tour that is surely to follow it. What the hell is she gonna do now? What will a tour even look like after the Eras tour? Like, will it just go back to being like 1989 World Tour, Reputation World Tour? Will it just be TS12 World Tour? And she does the same thing that she's done in those previous tours? Or she plays most of the album and a few of her hits? I really want her to do a B-sides tour, maybe later in her career, where she tours on a more deep cut set list.
These are great questions. These are great questions.
I was really worried for a long time after Eras because I saw so much conversation around how, people were being upset because Beyonce and Taylor were touring at the same time. And Beyonce, I don't think she was quite 3.5 hours, but her Renaissance, the first act, was long. Like it was not an hour and a half. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what people are going to expect from artists now. And like, it's just it's a ridiculous demand to ask every single artist to be able to tour that way. 3.5 hours every night. Not everybody can do it. There's a reason she's Taylor Swift, et cetera, et cetera. But then Lana toured, and everybody seems to really love that. So maybe we're safe. Lana is setting us free from the expectation of another Eras tour. I cheer. I really thought everybody was going to want that from their artists, but I guess I was wrong. So personally, I think it would be insane if the fan base, the Swifties, were like, we need another Eras tour. No, we don't. You were there, weren't you? You weren't born yesterday.
But they're greedy. We know that the Swifties are greedy. So if it's anything less than 3.5 hours, if it's anything less than that, they're not going to be happy. I know that for sure. But they'll eventually kowtow and fall in line because they're cronies. They'll get with it. I think that the smartest thing to do, honestly, would just be to tour the new album, whatever it is, in its entirety with a little bit of Tortured Poets thrown in, and then do something like what she did on the Reputation tour. Like, let's do a mashup of Style, Shake It Off, Blank Space, and call it a day. And then we'll do another one of Love Story, You Belong With Me, and something else. Our song. There you go. And then we're done. And then everything else is new. I think she can't win if she's trying to represent. She can't represent all the eras on a set list. If she did just one song from all those shows, it takes up like half the show. So I think we've all seen it. We've all got our fill. She's done every single era well, except Speak Now and Debut. But in some way, she's done justice to all the albums. And now I think to avoid being seen as a legacy act, she needs to move away from constantly referencing her back catalog and move into whatever is next. So I would be cheering for a front to back, like a concept show, maybe even a little bit more leaning into the performance, the story. Let's do that. Let's hear front to back new songs and a few of the old hits thrown in for a little bit of blue in our hair.
I think it's going to also depend on what the vibe of the new album is, like what the theming is, what the tone of it is. If
and
it's
how long
like,
it is.
a number one pop album, then she's probably going to be doing. Think about what she did in 1989. The songs that she did play, she manufactured or sort of like fixed to be in the tone of 1989. They were deliberately chosen.
Them. I love
something
that.
like
Let's
that.
rework it.
So I think that's probably the most likely if we're gonna see old songs. If I was her, I would not want to be doing You Belong With Me again. I just did it for 2, and I've done it for 15, 20 years. So that's enough now. So I know people, we want to hear. Well, some of us have been here the whole time, Sarah. And some of us have heard You Belong With Me a million times. And not even just in person. I've heard You Belong With Me live so many times. I'm telling you, what I want to hear, Guilty as Sin, and other new songs. And I think that's
other new songs. But I'm always here for a funky interpretation of an old Taylor Swift song. Like, I loved the 1989 versions overall. Not all of them were like my favorites, but I really liked the attempt to rework them. I think the Love Story rework is especially successful. So, and I Knew You Were Trouble. We forgot about that one, but that one actually slapped because she couldn't be doing dubstep in 2015. It was already like passe and out of style. So I think, reworking old songs is probably going to have to be her move if she wants to include a lot of them or even some of them on the new tour. But I mean, I'm seated. I think she likes touring again. So
me too. And I'm seated.
It just takes her away for a long time. This is the problem. Like, that level of a tour takes her away from doing things like the movie, like her other creative assignments, like being with Travis. But he came. They made it work with their schedules. Like, really, like, she comes to support him. It seems they kind of plan around each other insofar as much as they can. And they made it work before on a world tour. So that shouldn't be a deterring factor. But if she's doing a movie, that requires like a sustained presence.
Well, speaking of, did you see this People exclusive about how Taylor's really excited to be able to spend a lot more time at the football games this year because she's not going to be touring? It's like for the whole season, pretty much. It was in People. I found it interesting. I don't like that.
I don't like that. I don't like it when artists put out albums that I like and then they don't tour them. Eternal Sunshine.
Just something I read. I read.
You've ruined my day. Thank you.
Well, maybe it's a summer tour. The football season goes from September to
when is that?
February. September to February.
See, I wouldn't have expected her to tour until next summer. That's when I would have thought the earliest possible dates would be summer. So, and we will be there at opening night. We're not making that mistake again. Nope, we're there.
No, we're there. Well, maybe we should keep that to ourselves. Because the next thing you know, everybody and their dog wants to be at opening night, and there go the tickets, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's going to happen regardless of whether we say we're there or not.
Don't you do it?
Don't go. It's going to be a horrible day.
Don't you do it? No, that's our plan.
We're throwing tomatoes at people.
Remember
when we were like, we're going to the Super Bowl? Remember when we were like, how expensive can the Super Bowl be?
Mason really opened my eyes to that. Mason really said, you can't do that. People buy tickets to the Super Bowl before they even know who's going to be there. Okay.
And that's not going to be us.
That's not how I operate. I mean, do you buy tickets to a mysterious tour without knowing who's going to be on the stage? I don't do that. But these people, they're different. It's different. I don't get it.
She could do Super Bowl next year, actually. I would like to see it.
I would like to see it. Who else is going to do it at this point? Sabrina Carpenter? Actually, that would be so yeah.
That would be gag.
Actually, that would be a gag. So yes, actually, yeah. Sabrina Carpenter, Olivia Rodrigo, kind of a moment. I would be
let's do the Disney Girl trio. Let's get Selena, Demi, and Miley up on that stage and watch as Selena flops and fails and Miley scares everyone.
You can't put Selena up there with Demi. That's not fair.
And Demi does recipes and makes TikToks on stage.
Yeah, Demi is like the most TikTok-y of them all. Selena is
came
online.
Out with a cookbook.
Well, that's news to me. First time hearing of it.
Best of luck. That would be it would be really funny if you bought it and tried to make a recipe for Patreon and reviewed it.
That would be hilarious. I should
really
do that.
Funny. It would be very hilarious.
All right, let's cook. You got to do the cooking by the book. You got to do the cooking by the book.
Do the cooking by the book. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. If you want more Evolution of a Snake, we will have a paywalled episode of Phone a Snake. And this month, we're giving advice to our listeners. We are doing Snaggity Aunt. You call in and we give you advice that you shouldn't take Or maybe you should take. I don't know. It really depends on what we said. But you can go and get that right now. Patreon.com/Swiftologist and evolutionofasnake.com for tickets to London and Dublin. We'll see you, Snares, forever.
It never ends.
Just like the Eras Tour.
Just
Goodbye.
like the Eras Tour.